Welcome to The Modern Moron. In this episode, both the Senator and I interview a mutual friend and our second retired firefighter. This gentleman served as an emergency medical technician and ambulance driver for his department. We find out the difference between an EMT and a full paramedic, which is interesting to me, but apparently boring to the Senator as he takes over the interview, and instead, we hear about a firehouse prank and about our guest's successful battle with cancer. We even tease him about his cancer, as only a couple of morons can do. It's hot dogs and butt cancer on The Modern Moron, and thank you for listening. It was the first time we've done a three-way. We have the Senator, and we also have our guest. And let me give a little background for the one listener that doesn't know us. So the three of us all graduated from the same high school, Catholic all-boys high school. All of us graduated in different years. I didn't know either of you in high school. I met the Senator when I was a senior and he was a freshman, but I didn't get to know you until well after high school.
Right. Now, I logged in with my name. Should I log in as my other name that we said I would be?
It's too late now. The world is looking at this screen. No, don't worry about it.
This obviously is the first time I've done this. So.
You sounded so worried in your voice. You were like,
well, yeah, I thought, well, if this is supposed to be kind of anonymous, there's my name.
The other unique things about you is you're the second guest we've had on that is a firefighter, a retired firefighter, correct?
Correct.
I was talking to you earlier this morning and you just got back from a little gathering to honor another firefighter that retired. That's what you guys do?
Yes, I was in a bar at 7:30 this morning, and that is our tradition. When a guy completes his last shift, typically the dispatcher will announce over the air that thanks for your years of service and good night. So a lot of retired firefighters meet there, and then guys that are not on duty will meet there.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's kind of cool. So it's not just the station that firefighter worked at. They announce it over the dispatch and
everybody here.
Everybody can go.
The whole county.
So how many people showed up for this?
There was probably about 30 this morning.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and no one liked the guy, so that says a lot.
Nobody liked the guy. How many people showed up when you retired?
About the same.
So what does that say?
Not many people liked me.
The thing that sticks out about your career path in the fire department compared to our consultant's trajectory is that you stayed out of administration. No desire to get into the administrative end of firefighting.
That is correct.
Why is that?
Part of it is just because of my self-crippling doubt that I could do something like that.
Okay.
I don't think I'm a good manager. I'm a good worker and a good team player. I've never really been confident that I could be the leader, the captain or the chief.
Is that kind of too much pressure type of thing?
It's a lot of pressure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You personally feel a lot of pressure.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of guys take on stuff that they're not qualified for. And so they're always dealing with that pressure or that doubt, or they're just really no good at it. And then it's just not a good way to go. I think people need to recognize, what am I good at? And then do that.
So you call yourself an ambulance driver, but you have to do more than just drive the thing, right? You've got to walk up to the person that is injured,
right,
and take care of them. Yeah?
We're all cross-trained to fight fire and do the medical side also. So they're kind of one and the same.
But your primary purpose arriving on scene is to administer medical attention.
Right. Only because that's the majority of our calls. Probably 80, close to 90% is a medical related call.
You know, what's interesting, and I think is going to be sort of a common thread, is something that you said that I can certainly relate to, is the phrase self-crippling doubt. How ironic is it that you, on the one hand, have this self-crippling doubt I guess maybe about administration. And yet you're arriving on emergency scenes to administer emergency medical attention to somebody. You got to know what you're doing, right? You can't go, now, where did I put the aspirin? You got to know which is the aspirin and which is the morphine. Because if you get them mixed up, there's trouble.
There's big trouble, which is why I didn't become a paramedic. I did not want to be in that position to give somebody morphine when they needed an aspirin. Did you know David Lee Roth just became an EMT?
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I don't know why.
And how you ended up knowing that David Lee Roth became an EMT?
I saw it on Facebook. Somebody posted a picture of him in his
EMT was he wearing stretch pants as well?
He had a real ambulance uniform on.
I don't know how confident I would feel if I was having a heart attack and David Lee Roth walked up and said,
right, are you the guy that sang Running with the Devil?
Yeah.
Can I get somebody else?
Yeah, can I get somebody else would probably be my first thought. So what's the difference between a paramedic and an EMT?
An EMT is you're essentially just assisting the paramedics with what they do is they call advanced life support measures. So they can start IVs and give patients drugs. Are you there, Senator? Or are you napping?
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm kind of letting run this, but it's really boring. So I have questions for you right now.
Go ahead, Senator.
Back to the celebration. I think you should invite all of the taxpayers in the county for that party who are going to cover that guy's pension for the next 40 years. They should be invited to the bar, number one. Number two, how many fires did you actually fight during your career? How many, like, real monster fires?
Probably 20.
Okay, fair enough. And I want you to tell the hot dog story.
The hot dog story.
Do you remember the hot dog story? You have to tell that story.
Is this work related?
Yes.
Okay, great.
I think it calculates is that the right word there, old man?
Probably not. Use it in a sentence.
I want to encompass the whole thing about the camaraderie in the fire station. And you know what I'm talking about.
I do. I'm contemplating whether I should tell it because I don't want anybody to lose their job.
Really?
Yes. I think it really brings together that when you're there, regardless of all of your background as a firefighter, you guys are brothers and it's a brotherhood, right? And you got each other's back. And I think you should tell it.
Okay. Well, this was years ago before you would really get in trouble for doing things. One of our paramedics asked if I was allergic to any medicine or any drugs. I said, no, I'm not. And it was just kind of a weird thing he asked while we were eating lunch. And we had hot dogs for lunch. We always cooked together. And halfway through my hot dog, I couldn't feel my lips or my gums. And I was like, I said, hey, did you put something in my hot dog? And then he lost it and couldn't stop laughing. And what had happened, he took some lidocaine and injected my hot dog. And it was...
What's lidocaine?
I think it's a numbing agent based on how I felt.
And how long did it take before you could have full use of your mouth again?
Yeah, about an hour.
What was it? Was it like going to the dentist, right? Does
Exactly.
it feel like that when you get a shot?
That's what it is.
All right, that's what I thought. And so you've got you're probably drooling a little bit. You can't finish your hot dog.
Right.
And does everybody else in the house know that this is going on? The other firefighters?
Yeah, everybody had a good time laughing about it.
How many other firefighters were there?
We usually have anywhere from 3 to sometimes 8 guys, depending on the equipment at the station.
And they kind of wandering into the dining room, kind of seeing how you were doing with that hot dog?
Yeah. Of course, they want to know what it feels like.
Should have gave him a bite.
Yeah. Right. Here. I'm not eating the rest.
I really enjoy that story. Just for the record.
Did you look to get a little revenge eventually? And how long had you been with the department at that time when it...
Not long.
Not long. No. You were a rookie.
I was a rookie.
And then did you ever do something to get that person back, or what kind of other initiation type of things have happened that you can discuss?
Well, this guy was sort of a train wreck. He did things to himself. So
what?
Every decision he ever made turned into a disaster.
Please tell me he wasn't a paramedic.
He was a paramedic.
Oh, my God.
And, yeah, he would have, he'd be driving down the road and his trailer would come off and then they would pass him while he was driving down the road. Stuff like that happened to him all
The trailer would pass him. He'd slow down and the trailer would...
He'd look over and, yeah, there's my trailer going by.
And this guy's a paramedic.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Did he ever have a mishap on the job like that?
No. He was a good paramedic.
But he couldn't take care of his personal life.
No.
Wow.
Oh, interesting.
Well, you got to have some more stories like that.
I'm sure there's
I've
a lot
got
of those.
A lot of them. Yeah.
Well, what are some of your favorites?
Well, we saw a lot by going into people's houses. So you learn a lot about how people live. And we always love the fact that most of the public trusted us. And whenever a firefighter did something that broke that was not cool with anybody. Unlike the police, people like us. And we try to protect that and do the right thing. And I remember going out into all volunteers. We got called with the ambulance to go out there. And I remember arriving at this house and one of the volunteers was there and he was hunting when he got the call. So there's a shotgun propped up on the porch and this guy was in the house. And I just remember laughing, thinking, this patient just let a guy into his house in camouflage. It doesn't matter. It's like we could have shown up in clown suits and people would open their doors and say, come on in, my dad's got a heart attack. You got to do something. So I always thought it was interesting that if you have an emergency, people's doors are wide open for help. And it doesn't matter if you're in a clown suit or a fire uniform. People don't care.
Were you a volunteer firefighter ever?
A little bit, yeah. I did a program through the local college and was able to work with the firefighters and learn what they do. It was a internship, and I would train with the volunteers once a week.
Cool. Senator, you probably think I'm going toward boring land again.
Sounds like.
What
I
would
think
you
it
like
is.
to interject with?
Yes. I have to commend because this guy, I know him very well. He does not like to talk on the phone. I've probably talked to you in the last 20 years, maybe twice on the phone.
Yeah, a text is fine.
Yeah, but you don't like talking on the phone, right? You do not, or especially for long periods of time.
I hate it.
I commend you. Thank you for.
This is not a phone.
Pain.
This is I got a headset on and a microphone.
Well,
maybe he just doesn't like talking to you on the phone.
Loser.
this is true.
I've had lengthy conversations with him on the phone.
Really?
Just one or
Is
two.
it just me? That's okay if it's just me.
I think it's just you.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Can you confirm?
I know I don't like
No,
talking.
you don't like being on.
Okay, old man. I've got the agenda up here.
Great.
The whiteboard.
Great.
So can we move past the professional career?
Sure.
'Cause I'd like to talk about the butt cancer. That's what I'd like to talk about.
Are you okay with that?
Oh, you're talking about me?
Well, you're the one that had butt cancer.
I don't call it butt cancer.
What do you call it?
Colon. It's a colon. It wasn't the butt.
What's the difference between the colon and the butt?
Oh, okay.
A lot.
Okay. Like in your mind, as an EMT, what's the difference between the colon and the butt?
Right.
There's a difference between the colon and the rectum, right?
Exactly.
All right. Well, what's the difference between the colon and the butt?
It's just not the proper terminology. But I
So really? Oh, wow. I thought we were being spot
Is
on.
it disrespectful?
I guess the butt would refer to the muscle tissue and the colon is the canal
exactly.
through which your poo-poo goes.
Exactly.
All right.
I was diagnosed in 2012, I think.
Mhm.
I had some blood in my stool. I thought, that's odd. Doc thought it was probably hemorrhoids. He said, let's just do a colonoscopy. You'll be 50 in a few years. So that revealed there was cancer. They immediately started radiation and chemo and scheduled a surgery. So they had to take the cancer area out and then put a ileostomy bag in. So all my poop for 1 year went into a bag. And
Oh my God.
you got to dump the bag occasionally because it gets...
Did it smell like poo-poo?
It was horrible.
Worse than poop.
It would break open at night if I rolled on it. And the wife loved that.
Oh, did you work that into a romantic situation or something?
No,
What do you mean she loved
that was not.
Oh, you're being sarcastic?
One time I had Indian food and this thing,
Oh my God.
I felt it blow up and it was ready to explode. It expanded with just gas and I carried it like it was a bomb to the bathroom. Very slowly, I walked. I held on to it by the bottom, thinking it's going to blow.
And it was all curry and Indian spices.
It was all, just curry and.
Did you hold it like a bomb, like away from your body, like you were holding it with your arms stretched out? And
Oh yeah, exactly. And I was tiptoeing.
You would think the way you're describing that we've got to make some kind of there's fuel there.
Yeah.
I mean, that could have propelled the vehicle, correct?
We should find a way to power
I mean,
stuff.
come on.
Right.
Just by eating Indian food.
I'm going down to Ruchi and getting some
Just
fuel
take a in your gas tank and you could drive down the road.
and a bite to eat.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's recycling at its finest right there.
It can be done.
had a bite to eat.
I know it can. That's one of my biggest conspiracy theories is that the oil industry and the auto industry are withholding technology because they want to squeeze a few more billion-dollar quarters out of our economy.
Absolutely.
Yep. I drove in a Tesla yesterday, and the driver said, do you know I'm not driving right now? And he wasn't.
Really?
He put his indicator on. And he goes, watch, my car will change lanes for me. And the car accelerated and changed lanes and stayed a certain distance behind the car in front of us.
Wow.
And that was a strange experience.
So is that on your list to get a Tesla now?
No, I have issues with giving up control. I have a drone, and I put it on automation the other day on a construction site.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very nervous. I didn't trust that it was going to do what the program told it to do.
Maybe you just haven't used it enough to trust it.
True. I have not used it that much in that mode, and I lost it in the sun, and I had to crouch down by a outdoor toilet to get some shade so I could see the screen and find out where the drone was.
Why were you using a drone at a construction site?
Well, funny you should ask. We went quickly to another topic.
Oh, there's more to that story. I thought it all ended happily.
You didn't finish the bomb bag.
The bomb, yeah. That's right. Anyway, I'm a commercial drone pilot, and I was hired to take some video of this construction site. We'll come back to that later.
Sure.
So I did the surgery to reconnect everything. That went good. 2 years later, they found metastasis into my lung. So they did a surgery called VATS. It's a video-assisted surgery. And they go through your rib cage and clip out cancer.
So by the time that
yes.
I should stop interrupting, first of all. I know that's what you're thinking, Senator. So it's moved from your colon.
Exactly.
It's moved from your colon to your lungs. Are you thinking like, what the fuck? Is my number up or what's the deal? Or are you just like, okay, that's the next thing we're going to tackle?
It's all numbers. The doc told me there's this percentage of reoccurrence, and it's typically in the liver or it's in the lung. So they're looking for it in their scans. And it was a tiny blip that lit up after the scanner.
And how are you feeling about it?
Well, let's get rid of it.
Let's tackle it. Tackle the problem.
Right. That's the whole thing with medicine. If you can deal with things early, you can live a good life. But people that ignore it and don't go get their butt checked, we'll find they have advanced cancer down the road. Colon cancer is like the third leading cause of death. So every male should go get a colonoscopy by age 50. Have you guys had it?
I've had 3.
I have to send in a poop stool sample every 6 months. That's the same thing?
I don't think so.
I'll take the firefighter's advice over yours, Senator.
Okay. Well, how are they going to tell? You got to go through the whole procedure of the colonoscopy. You got to get it up there.
But it's done often enough that it equates to a colonoscopy. I get it every 6 months. I have to send in my poop.
But how do you find the polyps on the
polyps
lining
hey,
of
hey, Einstein, polyps.
Polyps.
Polyps. What do you call them? Polyps.
Correct.
Yeah. So you're sending in your samples. They have markers and things that will tell them whether they should do a colonoscopy.
So it's satisfactory to do that twice a year.
Yeah, you may be, based on your family history, you may be a very low risk.
Gotcha.
But if there's family history, they want to keep an eye on people a little closer. So they may go more invasive and look for those things.
During that period of time, we would make light of a lot of this about his cancer. It was an excuse. He couldn't go, oh, you got cancer. We would make fun of him and this situation in a loving, caring way.
And the guys at work did that also.
Yeah. Does
The
laughter?
guys at work, they would say, how long are you going to ride on this I had cancer excuse?
Yeah. How much does laughter help and like having friends like that? No, serious. I've heard laughter. I've heard, not taking it so serious.
Laughter's the
is
best
beneficial.
medicine.
Does that help? Did that help you get through this?
Yeah, I think it's huge.
Okay.
It's not, people don't do enough of it. Especially since everybody's PC now, you can't joke about anything.
Oh, tell me about it.
So it takes away people's honesty, and they're just trying to be a machine, like the earmuffs, or la 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 la. People say while you're saying something that they don't think is acceptable.
See there? Teasing people about their cancer can actually be beneficial. I don't recommend running through a cancer ward yelling out random cancer insults to people you don't know. I think the key here is that you have a close relationship with the person you're making fun of, and I think you probably got that already. But as I've said before, I'm a moron, and that sums it up. And thank you again for listening to The Modern Moron. We'll see you next time.